Hi, my name's Scott. You may know me as Gizot from the Project Revolution forums. I'm going to be doing a tutorial today about UVW mapping, but before we get started, let's explain one quick thing. When you see the mouse do red rings, that means I'm left clicking. Blue rings means I'm right clicking. Okay. When you finally finish your model, get it to where you like the way it looks, you'll want to UVW map it so that you can add a skin to it. Well, when you first get done, your UVW mapping is most probably going to look something similar to what we have here. This is pretty much normal planar mapping on the Z-axis. It's basically what every model ends up with. Now, to get this to something where we can actually skin it, what we're going to want to do is go to your modifier list, scroll down to UVW map. A model like this we will want to do cylindrical, and we will want to fit it to make sure that it gets all of the model inside of it. Well, one issue with this, when we go to unwrap UVW, is you will see that it's got polygons sticking off to the side of one and they're cut out of the other. Well, the way to fix that, go ahead and delete the unwrap. In the UVW mapping, you click the little plus icon and go to Gizmo. Select your rotate tool and rotate to where the green line is where you would like it to be cut at. I'm aiming to have it cut right across the back, so right there should be good. Now what this is going to do is when I go to my unwrap UVW again, notice it's now clean cut across the sides. Now that is what we were aiming for, because this is a lot easier to skin because we can actually tell what's going on the sides and see our basic model here with the eyes, nose, mouth, which we'll be cleaning up in just a moment. Okay. One thing we're going to want to do is scale this down just a bit because we've still got to fit the top in there, and we'll put it in the corner for now. Okay, we'll close this out. If you right click on the model, go to convert to editable mesh, that will turn it right back into an editable mesh, but it will keep your UVW mapping. What we're going to do now, select faces, or we'll try polygons, see if we can get that top one all in one. Not quite, but close. So we'll select the other side as well, and we're going to UVW map this planar. The reason we're doing planar is so we can get a straight down shot, so we can fit as much of the actual model into that as possible. We'll go to unwrap UVW, click edit, and you'll notice it'll show us exactly the polys that we have just mapped. Well, the one problem with this is that generally it'll do it to a side, which you can fix with the gizmo, but I prefer to fix by hand so that I'm positive I know where everything's at. We'll click close. We will collapse our model again, and if we go to unwrap UVW again, you will notice that we have our entire model right where we want it. Now I'm going to scale up this top piece just a bit so that it matches as close as possible to the existing UVW mapping. We can zoom in here. Let me make this bigger and we'll pan it over just a little bit. A quick tip when you're UVW mapping, if you have separate parts, you can select one and push your plus key to select all attached ones. Okay, we'll move this up just a little bit above where we're going. We're going to press Control T, or hold on just a moment, maybe it's not Control T. Yes it is, target weld. You'll select one vertex and drag it on top of the other, and you'll notice it turns into a little white cross with a W. That means it's going to weld those two vertices together. Didn't quite weld that one. There we go. Now what we have here is pretty much a nice clean UVW map that could be very easily skinned. We're gonna shrink it down just a little bit. This dark blue square you see here is pretty much the size of your image map. It's what space you have to work with. I'm gonna stretch it out just a little bit sideways so that we can get a little bit more detail in it around it. Okay. Now, one thing that we're gonna have to do is, because the mouth is actually open just that little bit, is we're gonna have to select a couple vertices here so that we can bring it down so that we can get inside the mouth. Well, this is looking to be an issue with the model, which I might fix in a minute. Let's bring this down. There we go. That'll work just fine. Granted, it's not going to be the cleanest mapping, but it will serve our purpose of being able to get a good skin map on the inside of the mouth. Okay, if you look now, you can kind of see how his mouth is open there. Got his nose, little eyes kicking. Alrighty, now we'll go ahead and close this out, and your model is now skin mapped. We can place a random bitmap on it. Let's see what we have here. Go to diffuse, bitmap. Okay, we'll use a nice rock one. We'll drag this onto our model, make sure it shows it, and there we go. A nicely mapped 3D model.